29 degrees and a low of 22 degrees.
Good morning, grasshoppers. All right, let's get started. Little late, better late than never. Alexi already with the win. How did that happen? Oh no, not the full point buy. Because I wasn't here. I'm sorry, Alexi. Ooh. It's a bummer not to get a game in a slow event like this. What was this? A C3 Sicilian. Not a huge fan of the E6 systems against the C3 Sicilian. B6 is the next natural move here. D6 is more to the point. G6 leaves our dark squares a little weak after knight D2, knight E4. It's very tricky to cover both of these.
This nation owes you.
Bishop G5 right now might actually be a little bit more problematic as well. Good morning, Dark Theo. Theo, how are you? We are just starting our Swiss. I'm in a little late. I had to stop off at my favorite Kinso stream on the way in. I did not realize that I needed to be online right away. I am a little sluggish. I was hoping to do some studying before I started my stream, but I ended up getting caught in a Hulu series, The Cleaning Lady, at like 6 a.m. when I thought I was ready to come up. And I was going to do a 1-hour stream before the Swiss stream, the Swiss training. But it didn't happen. It is extremely cold outside. Extremely cold outside. We have on the agenda today, I'm hoping to get in a 3-hour De La Bourdonnais stream or a 3-hour Johnny Hector stream for Pegasus. Both of those are for Pegasus. I owe Laurent J.W. A normal Kosteniuk, Alexander Kosteniuk, the current World Blitz champion. A several-hour a normal stream, and then I owe a 6-hour Magnus Carlsen stream, for which I actually purchased a new book. The most instructive games of Magnus Carlsen, so I'm hoping to be able to go through some of those. I haven't decided what the theme will be yet, so I'll have to take off some time in between. Good morning, Lauren J.W. I'm hoping to get in Kosteniuk today. Yeah, well, they're in Helsinki indeed. -6 degrees Celsius here. Ye gads. Although my personal home device told me it was 22 degrees Fahrenheit, which still puts it pretty darn cold. Nice. It depends on what you consider blitz. To me, I consider blitz time control of less than or 5 minutes or less. Good morning, Apostolate. It's slightly warmer in Helsinki than it is here. But 5 minutes, yeah, anything under 10 minutes. Well, I have a secret for you. 5 plus 5 is 10 minutes. In theory. Rogan, Joe Sloan. Good morning. I'm going to assemble a new chair today, and I'm going to change my theme from green as I was nudged by Rogan yesterday because I was knocking. I haven't decided upon a color yet, but since the emotes that Quadraspaski did for me are red and yellow, I think I may have to change my theme to somewhere in the middle. I haven't decided. Self-harm. It is classified as rapid, yes, absolutely. That's why it's 10 minutes. But you have to remember the main thing, and this is the most important thing to keep in mind, is that your opponent is playing at the same time control. And the good news is that they are separate rating systems. Nice. Thank you, and welcome to the dojo. The dojo is a place where you will always find increment, 9 times out of 10. We had a brief moment in time when Dark Myth was attempting to run an afternoon bullet event, and I think it was the ruin of me. As Arsenal fan pointed out, if I didn't play in the event, in fact, if I don't play in many of these events, nobody shows up. So I have to play, and if I wanted to make, I do see you. Wow, you're right behind me. Nice work. 2112. I think that's about correct because I'm about an 1800 chess.com player. I can... My rapid rating is that low? Ye gats. Good morning, Jeff. Yeatenheimers. But that's just how difficult it is. So the only thing I have a problem with, it's low. Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm on my way, or I'm exercising to be 2400 lead chess, which means that I will have my old strength back to a certain extent if I can get to 2400 lead chess. On chess.com, chessclub.com, aim high, and everything in the middle is good. Ah, Stas. I've been waiting for this moment. I am 0-4 against Stas 235. But that is mostly fast time controls. Perhaps one simul. What, your opponent resigned? How many moves was it? Were they intimidated by the rating? That's craziness. So, Grandmaster Elisabeth Pähtz seems to be having a problem with her final norm. She will be the first German women's Grandmaster. She'll be the first German women's Grandmaster. Or I shouldn't say women's Grandmaster, because that implies the WGM title. Oh, yes, you played Miles. He is very intimidated by rating. I can only apologize. It's just ridiculous because he is a good player. He's resourceful. But you can only learn something by playing. I'm actually not sure why I played c5 against us. I had planned on making this a Caro-Kann day, as I got a new book on the Caro-Kann. He does. He's very aware. He needs to work on his positional sense. I recommended yesterday that he choose a world champion and play over some games and really dig into them. And he does watch the stream, so he may or may not be here. He just doesn't chime in because he's young. Mad Quick Chess, thank you for the support. MQC. How are things, Mad Quick? So now I have to decide what kind of a Sicilian player I'm going to be today. I play everything. I play the Taimanov, I play the Dragon, I play, let's go with right in the middle with the Accelerated Dragon. It's a positional Dragon. How are you doing at So C3 I've always had an interesting issue with. I've never completely understood C3. I'm going to take a different approach this morning to C3. I'm certainly not going to be exchanging on D4 anytime soon. So why is Stoss lower rated than me? Perhaps that's one of the reasons why. So in closed openings, or in this particular case, semi-open games, piece play and pawn play have to be balanced. So they have to be equally good. It's one of the reasons why. But the Maroczy has got its issues. As far as the weakened squares, there are opportunities for black in the Maroczy, just like any other opening. In fact, there are 3 really good systems against the Maroczy. Camille Plichta came out with a chessable course. You can also, of course, study the latest informant, as you'll discover Magnus Carlsen games, where Magnus Carlsen plays the Accelerated Dragon. Camille Plichta has a new chessable course out on, oh, there's a duplicate again. Stream Elements Chessable. Another duplicate. Not as easy to get to my Stream Elements dashboard. The only reason I enabled Stream Elements is for merge, which I haven't completed yet. So, what is my opponent going to be up to? That is the question. So on f4, I may play knight to g4, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, knight takes c6, bishop takes c6, queen takes g4, bishop takes e4, and the material will be equal. And his pawn on c3 will look a little silly. He's going for a bit of a Yugoslav attack. Is this a problem? I don't see as how it's a problem since he's castled kingside. Well, I was inspired by Rogan, basically, because if I'm going to do this right, I'm also going to need to do my YouTube channel properly. Now, it is too much Tarrasch, but the Maroczy was after Tarrasch's time, interestingly enough. Is my f7 square weak? I think not. I don't believe my f7 square is weak. Interesting. So my opponent is allowing me to outpost a rook on c4, but it looks as though I'm going to have more going for me. I'm going to have much more going for me. And now it looks as though the weakness on the king side, do I draw the queen away and then attack? Or do I just outpost my rook? That is the question. Perhaps I should be drawing the queen away and then attacking. He has a trick with e5 in this position. It could weaken my pawn structure. It's not a real trick yet, but it could become a trick. What is the best way to go about trying to punish him for this? Driving the knight back with e5, since I don't have a dark squared bishop, permanently weakening my pawn. Not great. We are allowing him a little bit of leeway here. So is the c3 square really weak? That is the question. The a6 square is weak. This is going to get in a4. The b5 square is weak. We're going to have to barnacle. Keep open the possibility of playing queen to c7, tying him down permanently to those weaknesses. Queen to c7, perhaps. I'm maneuvering my knight to e5 or to b6, and to keep that pawn from advancing to c4. I am a smidgen worried about this. Not that worried, but I am a smidgen worried. So how do we go about taking advantage of him completely? It looks like this could be the good time for e5. e5, f takes e5, knight takes, d takes e5, d takes e5. And then how am I going to keep up the pressure on the c3 square? Do I get to play d5? That is another question. d5, e5. Not one of my favorite choices. So we're going to definitely take advantage of the fact that white's knight cannot reach the d5 square. And in this moment in time, it looks like d5 could be a move. How passive is it? My opponent is very wily. He is low on time. Whoa. Whoa. Woe is me. Okay, it is time for d5, it looks like. It does look like it's time for d5. since he's leading with his queen. So far, so good. His king is exposed. His knight has no squares. We can capture on this square first, and then capture. Does he have anything to embarrass me? Queen to d4. Let's keep up the pressure. Should the knight move? This doesn't look correct, but we will capture appropriately to keep everyone guarded. Pawn on c3 is definitely hanging. Recapturing is forced. The pressure is on. I have an extra pawn. Where are we headed from here? Just got to make sure that there is nothing too fancy happening. So the pawn on c4 is going to be weak. Is he willing to trade even more? Let's keep tagging pawns while we're at it. I think we're still tagging pawns. How does he guard his c4 pawn? Rook to d4? I don't want to bring his rook in anytime soon. So now I'm a wee bit worried about my own king's safety. But I am about to unleash on a certain square. Is that a threat? I think not. Am I pinning my own knight? That is also a good question. It's always good to get one of those wins back. Woo! That was close. Rotten Lemons, good morning. World's #1 mod. Rotten Lemons was one of my earliest followers. I actually looked back. My earliest follower was Flow Cold. Cold Flow? Cold Flow is a poker player. I was watching him in the earliest days of my streaming. Iron English is for you. All right. Fair enough, since Rogan called it. $73 Deshi. We were at 74 just the other day. All right, I should say that Rotten Lemons is one of the original mods. But Rotten Lemons has actually been picking up the slack lately, as he was on the ball the other day banning someone. I think even Apostolette banned someone the other day too. You know, when they wield the band hammer, they're taking their job seriously. But Rogan, you are a mod above mods. I don't consider you an ordinary old mod. As far as mods go, Rotten Lemons was one of the originals. It's true, way back when. Before I knew Rogan was born. Apostolette, your game has started if you're on mobile. I'm always free for candidates, Rotten Lemons. Chescudo actually wanted to do the full World Championship match. Possibly for the 12K or the 10K. I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, I just realized that I was playing you. I'm sorry, Apostolette. I would have given you a warning about a minute and 15 seconds earlier if I'd have actually been looking at the name of my opponent. I hardly ever look at the name of my opponent. That is the tricky part. So the Magnus Carlsen book is most instructive. It's grouped by opening themes, which I'm very curious about. Attacking play, counterplay, positional and strategic chess based on like positional pawn sacrifices and play on opposite wings. And the last chapter, of course, which I think could easily be the first. Oh, it's not the last chapter. The second to last chapter is endgame play and then human factors. So C5. All right. Someone the other day, a FIDE master, I'm trying to recall his name, he was telling me that the Iron English does work. It does work against C5. And Magnus Carlsen actually lost to a version of the Iron English, which I like to call the Leonard Barden, because I believe it was the English master Leonard Barden who played this system with E4 as well as... Now, do I really want to worry about this? I'm going to play this like in English, and in English requires me to play H4. Keep the D5 square locked down upon. Excellent. OG. Jump right in. Now he doesn't have the C5 square for his bishop, so I'm far less concerned. So when they play E5 against the Iron English, I have to be very concerned about both knight F6 and... So now the moment of truth. Are we getting into... Are we getting into a position where I want to play D4? No. The usual plan in these particular circumstances. Wow, he wants to trade the bishops. Could we trade the bishops? Is this an option? Not so sure about this. I'll consider it. The great thing about many of these semi-open or semi-closed games is that you can wish list in Chessable. So I basically put, oh, you're right. I think there's a wish list in Chessable. I'm fairly positive that there's a wish list in Chessable. So now, do I have enough for b4? Not anymore. We're going all out. It could be time for d4, though. Is it time for d4, or is it time for anything in this particular setup? Fair enough. It is time to decide the position of my king. Only after this will I expand in the center if needed. Postulate is extremely dangerous and resourceful. Donnie, good morning. How are the kids? It is always a pleasure, sir. So is it time to begin expanding in the center? So I have a choice between e5 94, d4, bishop d2, preparing b4, and all the above, or just d4. Cross my fingers that I don't lose my queen to bishop c5 at the end. That is indeed the problem. f5, f6. f5, bishop takes h4, bishop f4. f5, bishop takes h4, f takes e6, bishop takes g3, f takes g, e takes f7, check. f5, bishop takes h4, f takes e. Looks good to me. The legends. I believe there was a wish list. I have quite a number of things on my wish list. The hard part is that I need to finish all of the tactics books, and I need to finish them appropriately. I just need to do them. I have John M.'s great puzzle book, I believe, the Everyman Great Puzzle Book. I want to do some work on that. They can use your Chessable account. All right. Now we're off. Interesting. Yowzers. I'm going to follow through with my idea. My original idea, which was to open up the king side. Bring my queen across. He does have 3 pawns for the piece, 3 very dangerous pawns on the king side. Everything is always dangerous, honestly. And now for something completely different. Oh, he has that. Or does he have that? It's interesting if he has that. All right, well, it's time to give back something on the king side. I expected that. What in the world? He's trying to trade off everything? I don't mind if he trades off. Yeah, I fell for it. It's true. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Hold on to your hats. It's going to be a bumpy ride. F5. Ye gats. Oh, I'm low on time. C'est la vie. So I'm a little worried about that. All right. I am willing to sacrifice a little bit. Useless towers. It's very ugly, I have to admit. But I don't have a choice. Everything appears to be covered. But barely. Whoa! Oh no! Not what I was expecting. It's not check. I was very lucky there. I was completely toasted. I was so lost. I was so lost in that game. You would not believe how lost I was in that game. Actually, everybody could believe how lost I was in that game. You had so many winning moves, so bad. It was so ugly. So knight f3 was the move I was leaning toward in this position. I was definitely so lost in that. Man. You had to take the, you had to trade queens and play rook takes g2, probably. I have nothing. If you trade queens, then I get rook to b7 check, but I don't have any good discoveries because my bishop is under attack by your knight, from what I remember. So in this particular position, queen to e1, b4 was definitely more accurate, because I would prefer that you play g5 before I play queen to e1. G5, bishop g3 traps the queen. Wow, all these double question mark moves. Bishop d2 was forced. This was a little unusual. That was very unusual. So I was supposed to play knight a4. Ye gods. Threatening mate, forcing the trade of queens. Yeah. Silly me. More mate in one exercises, everybody. More mate in ones. Yeah, 149 London variations. There's so much filler, indeed. And again, in this particular position, knight a4 is probably the most dangerous move. I just did not look at the weak square b6 enough. I really didn't look at the possibilities for my knight. I was blindsided by the fact that I wanted to go forward. I think I am dead lost here. Oh, knight takes e6. That was a crazy move. King h1, just avoiding any trouble. Possibly. Keeping everything under wraps. This is crazy. King takes, of course, was... Queen takes was going to create a lot more problems for me. Because you have a good square for your queen on this square. I don't have rook b1. It's my move against Pegasus. Ouch! Good morning, Ron. Hey, let's give it a shot. 2 in a row. We're all friends here. I'm happy that we tell each other that it's our turn to move. I'm just going to go with the accelerated dragon with white. He's got the Maroxy with black. Oh, he's not going for it. We're playing the reverse variation of Moscow MacArthur 1992, which can be found in ChessBase. Well, that's not Moscow MacArthur. Do I want to take over the center first? CD4, ED4, yes. I think I want to take over the center first. With this pawn structure, I need to open up the lines. My opponent is developing slowly. Knight takes g2 instead of knight takes f3 check, indeed. Now, do I go for the play in the center, or do I go for the central pawn threatening to play d5? I think that's the shot. This way I also get to try to take over the dark squares. Bishop g5, bishop takes f6, and then d5, possibly. Now, of course, everyone should know that there's every opportunity to use the notation. The other night I was watching a puzzle solver. It was the worst thing ever. It was here, 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 and maybe here, or should I go here instead? And to me, all of those moves are the same, honestly. They really are all the same. Yes. I am going to give up my advantage in the center. Because I get to do everything with check. Oh, I'm losing a pawn. C'est la vie. Or is it a sack of a pawn? It could be the sack of a pawn. Just keep it up. Do. Keep it up. Do. Keep it up. So now, bishop e3, knight takes c4, bishop c5, check. Does this lead to anything? King to e8, probably nothing. Am I forced into this continuation? I have a better bishop. I will have to live with it. There are some serious problems in my on my side of the board as well. So the two knights are going to cycle toward e4. God help us all. Rook to e1, knight takes f2, rook on h to e1, knight takes f2, d2. I think I have to offer him a pawn as a token of my appreciation. As a token of my gratitude. Okay. Extra tempo to get to e1. May not be enough, but it's going to have to be. I've lost to Ron Hay before. Today will be no different. So he's playing without his rooks. I feel like I should be able to get something on this fellow because he's playing without his rooks. This guy just does not use his rooks. So first things first, the e4 square is covered plenty of times, and his bishop is still bad. So we'll be patient. The real question is it worth a two-pawn sacrifice? That is the question. Maybe getting one of the pawns back. Whoa! Check, 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 Sonora. Work it all the time. Let's see if we just go after the pawn. The old-fashioned way. Oh, I forgot about that. I did forget about that, but it's not a real threat. It's very annoying, though. Very annoying that it's not a real threat. That's not a real threat either, is it? So we have to remove all of the defenders, one right after the other. Which knight is going to be more useful? The one that's not being attacked, probably more useful. Piece coordination, everybody. Who knows I'm tired? Exactly. That was a terrible move on my part. Piece coordination, everybody. Piece coordination. I'm still up a rook and a bishop. Up a rook and a bishop for 2 pawns. Not sure what I'm going to quite get for it. As long as his rook stays on a8, I played a game in Paris in 2015. My opponent's rook never left the h1 square. I think for the entire duration of the game. And then when he was able to maneuver it in, he equalized. I had such an initiative for a pawn sacrifice because his rook was never in the game. This, however, is a 2-pawn sacrifice. My opponent was very greedy. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate it very much. I am hoping to get it down to a 1-pawn sacrifice. Wait, why did you resign? What's going on here? I know I'm winning in certain ways, but am I winning in all ways? Ron, what are you doing, man? Oh no, not the coffee on the keyboard. You could have announced that and offered me a draw. I would have accepted that because coffee on the keyboard is far, far worse. So King f7 was probably the move. My plan was, after King f7, yes, possibly knight to b6. Possibly knight to b6. I also considered knight takes f6, king takes f6, knight to d5 check, and I was going to do it all over again. King can't go to e6 because of knight c7 check. Knight takes d5, knight takes d5, probably equal. That's good to know, that I am more or less equal because of the 2-pawn sack, because of the 2 pieces out. Are you okay, Pegasus? It is almost time for coffee. That is true. I did expect knight takes d5, knight takes d5, check, king f7 or f8. Bishop takes g4, f g4, rook takes e5, and then bishop f5. That was the line that I was expecting. That was fully the line. So king f7, I just need to see why knight f6 is worse than knight to b6. Rook to takes d2. And I did not look at knight takes g4, so king takes d2, king takes f6. And I had originally planned on knight to d5 check. Now I was going to go with king takes d2, knight takes d4, knight to d5 check. And king to g5. Ah, that is a problem. Therein lies the tale. But knight to d5 check is still the best move. King to g5, knight to b6. Rook to b8, knight takes c8, knight to g2, threatening the fork. Bishop to d5 makes sense. And then only then rook takes c8. Rook h1 going after the h7 pawn. Knight to g4, bishop takes b7, rook to d8, check, king to c3, knight f2. And I don't get to take on h7 because it's not check. Knight f2 threatens. All this looks good. And then knight f2 threatens what? Check, taking my pawn. And I can't play king to e3. Oh, I'm not. How did this knight get back to g4? Rook to h4, and I'm not taking on h7. I would probably have taken on h7. But I'm really, really losing after that. All right, let's get back to our Swiss. J.L. Enamorado, returning to the Caro-Kann. Oh, no. See if we can talk him into being a d4 player. When I play a theory against J.L. Enamorado, he fares pretty well, except in the e4 openings. So maybe I should answer e4 with e5 and go with the Jan Gustafsson repertoire for Chessable. By the way, the e5 Jan Gustafsson repertoire for Chessable is not so much filled with filler. There are so many novelties, so many creative ideas. It is very well worth it. The thing I do recommend, though, is that you use Chessable and Lichess together. This looks like it's a free pawn. I'm not entirely convinced that this is what he wants. It does look like a free pawn. Now he may think it's a free pawn because I'm eyeballing the d3 bishop. But really it's a free pawn because I want to trade queens being up a pawn. With a standard tactical idea. Queen a5 check, queen takes e5. This is the problem with having your king in the center. It's also the problem with playing a position of the King's Indian without your knight on c3. We definitely achieved, absolutely achieved, what we wanted out of the opening. And I'm losing a lot of time, by the way. So that he does have compensation for the pawn. Bishop takes e5 may have been better. Whoa! Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, do we cripple his pawns on the queen side? Yes. We cripple his pawns on the queen side. And now we go after them. I may even fix the pawns on the queen side. And then play knight to b6 or knight to e5 and scarf a second pawn. Is he going to sack a pawn to open up lines for his bishops? He has limited my ability to attack c4, though. That much is true. He's definitely limited my ability to attack the c4 square. It's very annoying. So I don't need to win the game with an attack on that pawn. So I did free up his bishop. I'm going to take the other free pawn. I'm not going to take that free pawn. I'm going to keep everything guarded. What row? I think he may be in trouble. He may be losing a bishop now. He's got to guard his bishop. He only has one rook to do that with. And now for something completely different. I think I need a blockade on these squares. Is he going to get anything on me? Bishop takes e7. Should I castle first? Or should I play b5? I need squares for my knight. b5. Let's ease the pressure. My knight is now worth more than a pawn because it's no longer guarding the pawn. When your pieces are tied down to material, that means that you have the same value. So for example, if you have a queen guarding a pawn for the entire game, the value of the queen is reduced. Our local candidate master indeed. If he's paying attention, if he's not. Told me once, I do want to trade. By the way, I do want to trade. I'm not really threatening his bishop, just in case anybody was wondering. It is not a real threat. If he's watching the stream, I will lose my rook on h8. C'est la vie. Now my pawns get moving. Everyone is protected. Everyone is happy. There are some tactics that reinforce the fact that my knight is still protected because of his back rank. At the end, after c takes b5, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, rook takes b5, he can capture my knight, but he has an unpleasant surprise on the first rank. Mayor Pant, good morning. Our favorite WFM. How are you? I don't have any favorite emotes. Dude. What do you mean I don't have any favorite emotes? And my frequently used, Merpant has fallen out of my frequently used. What? That's not cool. Can't believe that Merpant has fallen out of my frequently used. I'd better start using it in every stream. Whether I have... No, I don't have favorite emotes in the... Can I do this? No. Can I do that? No. Fine. We're going to have to activate our knight differently, our rook differently. I did try to lure him in with that other cheesy threat. I have to admit, it was indeed a very cheesy threat. It does not get much cheesier than that. So, two connected pass pawns, bishop and knight versus king. Threat to his bishop. Domination station. Promotion station. Uh-oh. I made a mistake. He had bishop a4. He had bishop a4. That's not good. That would be horrible had he found bishop h4. a4. Oh no, bishop a4, knight b2, bishop c2, and then I'm still losing my pawn. Yeah, I was definitely losing my pawn if he found bishop a4. Oh no. Can we reach our glory square? Yes, we can. Yeah, had he found the move, I blundered with this whole continuation. I saw c3, bishop e4, bishop f5. I saw exactly what he saw, except that when the position arrives, the further candidate move of bishop a4 comes into play, and I am toast. Knight to b2, bishop c2, and the pawn is falling. And there's no way. And I probably only have a draw at best, because all the pawns are on the same side of the board. Lauren JW, what happened? Wait a minute. Tournament can't be over. All right. Good luck. What does Lauren really want to see here? Tarish, huh? All right, I have to think about this. Tarish. I have to dig deep into my mind of Tarish. Let's see. What bothered Tarish the most? I guess Tarish did not fully appreciate. Oh, is she going to go for the Maroczy bind? I would be okay with that. Yes, the candidates definitely is coming up after the stream, Rotten Lemons. After the stream. I mean, not after the stream, after the... No, I can refund you if necessarily. If we can't do it after the... I'm very afraid of Lauren's theory. She studies more than me for herself. I mean, we have to play it after the tournament. That's the only drawback. Giving Elisabeth Pähtz everything we can as far as attention goes. All right. I'm going to keep all of my options open. And we're going to put the classical Sicilian to the test. Now, several ways to get an advantage here. We'll go with the Draken. And we're reaching the point where we actually have to know a little bit of theory. Developing our pieces, piece activity. Leave everything. Westfield Chess Club is now accepting registrations for tomorrow. There is a tournament next weekend. Next weekend, by the way, is Martin Luther King Day weekend. F3, not what I was expecting. I'm not sure if those F-pawns only went one square in Tarash's day, by the way. I really am not sure that those F-pawns went only one square in Tarash's day. All right, I'm going to risk it all on the weak diagonal. That's what I'm going to do. I'm risking it all on the weak diagonal with some standard dragon tactics from the non-Roxy accelerated dragon. The other great thing about rapid chess is that you get... All right, now the moment of truth. Bishop takes c3. He's taken a piece, so I just have to do some math. I don't think I need to play bishop takes c3 because my knight on e4 will not be there when it happens. So if I capture a queen, they capture a queen, and I capture a rook. That is the exchange for my knight. I capture a queen, they capture a queen, and I capture a knight. Am I getting out of there? That is the question. Am I just up a pawn? Much of the time, the purpose of this combination is to just be up a single pawn. And that I am. Good in between move. Very good in between move. We'll look at it later, of course. So they've captured a knight. I've captured a rook, and we both have two pieces hanging. I don't have much choice in the matter. My pawn structure is horrible, but I'm up the exchange. I also have the 2 bishops. And activity. I have the 2 bishops and activity. For what it's worth. It's not worth much, because I'm losing a lot of pawns. Mm-hmm. I have to find the most active square for my rook. This is not going to be easy. Even if I have to give back the exchange, I will. I'm looking at giving back the exchange. Lauren has a very, very respectable rating. So bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I think I have to go with that one, unfortunately. We're going to try to activate our pieces as best we can. Yes, indeed, as best we can. I really have nothing here. This is going to take a lot of work on my part. A lot of work. An amazing amount of work. Mm-hmm. So far, so good. We're battening down the hatches. Did I miss this last move? I'm afraid that I did miss this last move. This tactic. My most wild tournament story I cannot tell on stream. It is not possible to tell my wildest tournament story on stream. This is a family show. I do not know. I can't. Yeatenheimers, that will be something that we can tell over a pint. All right? We can tell the wildest chess tournament story over a pint in... Now I'm ready. Now I am ready. What's going on here? Still battening down hatches? Crazy. No, I can't offer any draws, by the way, Pegasus. It's not. I have no draw. I have not. I have no ability to offer a draw. I have removed that ability to offer a draw from my catalog completely. And now for something completely different. Limiting our opponent's stuff. All right, Edenheimers, how close are you to Helsinki? I would like to share that story over a pint. In Helsinki. I really don't need any pawns, by the way. I don't need any pawns. Just trying to prevent A5 breakthroughs, if that was what rook to B5 was all about. Is there something going on? I know there's something going on. Just looking for a mating net of any type. Check, check, check. I'm running low on time though. So it could just be as simple as maybe I can get the rook to commit.
This nation owes you a huge debt.
Thank you so much for following, Parag. This will keep the king back. And now for something completely different. We're going to get both rooks to the 7th rank. Oh, you have that move. Sorry, Lauren. I know she really wants to crush the daylights out of me. But it probably is not happening today. No, they are overworked. So, First things first, check. And we exchange rooks. Do I exchange rooks? Yeah, we exchange rooks. My technique is horrible. It is true that my technique is horrible. See, that was terrible. King to c6 was a much better move. I am so sorry, Lauren. What was it that happened? Oh yeah, queen to d2. You do need some really good knowledge of the classical dragon. There's a great book on that with Chris Ward. Unfortunately, it's only equal for both sides. At worst, it's only equal. That's a typical position that Magnus Carlsen would thrive in. How am I doing against Stefano? I've only played Stefano once before, so I have no idea. We're staying with the English. Since Rogan set it off earlier. Cheers, Lauren. You are still a very good player. Rooks, exactly. All right. This position, by the way, is recommended in the Raj Panjwan book. Is my audio out of sync for everybody? Am I suffering from some lag? I don't see it. Wait a minute, you're converting what? You went for the tricky exchange sack for the ruined pawns. I'm not entirely positive about that exchange sack being a normal move, but I have to continue developing as advertised. So now my goal of keeping my opponent from castling, how worthy a goal is it? That is the question. Right? How worthy a goal is it to try to keep my opponent from castling? It's tricky. It's probably not a worthy goal at all. I'm really not coordinating my pieces. Look at my rook and my knight on the H and G files. Not cool. So bishop a6 is the story, morning glory. First, I need to find out where everything is going. Knights before bishops. The problem with bishop h6 is that he answers with bishop takes h6 check. And there are further problems in this position also. So let's see if I can fix this. Knight f5 is annoying. So let's just see about this. If I play bishop h3 and he castles, let's just keep up the pressure. Piece coordination. Piece coordination, folks. Does not look like it at all. Piece coordination. Interesting. Is there something to be said for this? That is a bummer. That is very much a bummer. If I go in here, am I getting out? That is the question. Am I getting out of there if I go in? So knight f6 check, king f7, for example. e4. All right, YOLO. YOLO. I am absolutely horrible in this position. So that's interesting. All right, we're going to continue with our plan. Uh-oh. I'm losing material. I should have taken on h6. Darn it. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. If you're going to lose some, I would prefer to lose some against Lauren. Whoa, he did not play knight f7. Knight f7 was not played. We're on our way to coordinating our pieces again. We are on our way to coordinating our pieces again. So I don't want to move my knight because f2 is hanging, but I also don't want him to have his bishop out either. It's piece coordination. And now for something completely irrelevant. Rook takes bishop c8, he gets active. So we don't want him to be active. Now we can take. We should have enough pawns to out-equalize our opponent. Oh no, is it really that bad? All right, so he's trying to keep everything closed. I don't have a choice in this matter. Whoa. Checkers. Oh, that's a bummer. He's really trying to win that pawn, isn't he? And he's going to. That's tough. What? Totally unexpected. All right, for the first time in this game, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. First things first, checkers. Yes. Now I can win. I can win bishop and rook against king if need be, but it's not necessary. So let's do it. Let's win rook and bishop against king. Rook and bishop against king is going to... Oh, wait, dude. No! Stefano, are you here? I'm so sorry. I did want to exercise that possibility, though. Lauren J.W. I need coffee. Let's focus on Lauren versus Stas. Not an easy position. Perhaps not a difficult position, but certainly not an easy position. I don't know if I would be exchanging pawns. I felt like that could be a target. I was actually hoping for that to be a target. So in the previous position, I was thinking about bishop to d5, focusing on the weakness first, and then possibly recapturing on c4 if you really wanted to play it with the bishop. Fair enough. Are there enough weaknesses? Probably not. But maybe. But probably not. Can we get the bishop to move? Yes, you can maneuver your king to the center. No, don't trade. That outside pawn is what you need to win. Now the game, unfortunately, is a draw. But with that pawn on the board, you can still win. It won't be easy. But you can still certainly win. White offers draw. It is awkward. That much is true. Now, can black accomplish anything here? We're looking at it from Lauren J.W.'s side. She is black. This could be a job for repeating the position. This is like a chess.com game where they try to dirty flag you. Yes, there we go. That was a kind way of doing it. We have a full point lead over Stas and Ron Hay. I could take one round off if I knew there was an odd number. But it might end the tournament if I'm not careful. Whoop! It ended the tournament anyway. Wow. Is my rating really 2204? Oh, my rapid rating is 2204. I'm looking at the other one. I was looking at 2218. You played Stas, who previously had a 4-0 record against me. By the way, he was very, very dangerous, and I'm proud of you. But let's look at that for a moment. One moment. We'll put this into the viewer studies. Oh, we've looked at a previous Lauren J.W., one that you inserted in. Oh, yes. I see it. Stas is out-terrorishing you. Always rated Rotten Lemons. If you beat me, you deserve it. No, I mean, you're settling. It has nothing to do with the rating. Really, I put all ratings in a relative ballpark influence. Like you are, 2100, any given game can fluctuate you above or below any point in time. So in general, let's just say that, my rating might be over 2200, but I could be 2180, as you just saw it the earlier part of the day. I could be 2220. I could be 2175. I could be 20. If you, on Lichess, because the plus or minus is 10 points, I would say that, it's like a 25-point window on above and below. It was a pretty strong crowd. I wanted to look at our game too. Now, I'm always looking for ways of livening this up. In fact, I actually wanted to look at the Four Knights book by John Nunn, New Ideas in the Four Knights, which I have over there. Wow, bishop to d2, Stas. So Lauren is playing very solidly. I'm debating on whether or not bishop d6 is a good move here. Certainly you should consider rook to b8 for activity. I mean, you're playing the standard moves, which of course is a normal dogmatic concept. Let's look at this from Lauren's point of view, since we watched the whole game from Lauren's point of view. Stas 235, are you here? Well, not with the bishop on d2. I disagree that Teresh played the position with the bishop on d2. Oh, as white, but he didn't play it with the bishop on d2. Teresh would play knight to e2, bishop to g5. Yes. Exactly. We're on the same page. You and I have had... In fact, I have no idea that when I farmed my recollection, Lauren, for what to play against you, I'm like, what would Teresh have had the least experience playing against in his career? And all I could think of was a Sveshnikov. That's where I was headed at first. Sveshnikov, Neo-Sveshnikov, and then I went with classical Sicilian. But that's what I love about the slow time controls as well. But now we know, and you've learned something in our really awesome community, because someone else may or may not remember that we've had this conversation, and they may be able to help test you on that. Because when you play against total strangers, and in our community, Ron Hay is always willing to test things, by the way. Ron Hay, who's the 2300 player, he's the guy that usually will bring up an opening that I may or may not have discussed before. Books rot the brain. Oh my God. Rogan, save you. That deserves a shout out. That absolutely deserves a shout out. RJ Sloan. And if you've not followed Mad Quick Chess, please follow Mad Quick. Oh, MQC, yes. Please follow Mad Quick Chess. He's a great guy. He has always been here. Knight to g4 appeals to me most in this position, instead of bishop g4. As far as piece coordination goes, knight to g4, knight to e5 in order to scarf the bishop pair, one way or the other. So after knight to g4, the coffee gambit, yeah. Including the coffee gambit. You never know when you're going to get the coffee gambit. Welsh Canadian, how are you? Welsh Canadian, do you follow Velcro Dot or the other Canadian streamers as well? Velcro Dot, Lafong, AK Nemsko. I'm not sure where in the world the Bautista sisters are, but it's a lot like Where's Waldo. They usually are in Vancouver, I believe. Chess Bra, yes, I forgot about Eric Hansen. Eric. God, I'm trying to blank. We just had the one Chess Bra, and then there's Eric Hansen. No, Lauren, it was an honor to play you. It truly was. Were you in another stream just before this? I think you were in Amman. Yes, Amman Hamilton. Thank you for reminding me. Amman Hamilton. So let's just do a quick check on this. It'll quicken our pace. I feel like bishop g4 does not coordinate your pieces properly. If there's one move early on that I feel like in this position we can change, like perhaps we should ruin the pawn structure. That's my second candidate move. That also prevents bishop takes f6. That's right. Absolutely. Well, you've got the right book for it. You've definitely got the right book for it. While we wait, I also don't believe in trading queens, so this is a tough call. If we are going to trade queens, like what's the point in trading queens? If we trade queens, are we playing knight d7, knight e5 to go after the bishop pair? Yeah, this doesn't make sense. Do not give up the bishop pair because you're giving up material. That's okay indeed. No, trust me, that's my long life living. Wow, this fellow took with the f-pawn, and he gave you a shot to sentence his king to the corner for all of eternity. And after that move, then knight d7. Oh, I still like knight d7 better. This concept, or this concept, with the idea of the other rook coming in, but we have to watch out for that, right? I know, but this is a very tough call, Lauren. It's whether or not you want a static advantage versus the dynamic advantage, and you do seem to me like a better dynamic player, and you do strive for the better dynamic player opportunities. But this is a static advantage, not necessarily a dynamic advantage. A dynamic advantage would be having the two bishops against the opponent ruining your pawn structure. And that's what they have. They have the two bishops against your better pawn structure. Yes, yes. And now, unfortunately, we have bishops opposite colors. So I'm very hesitant about how we give up this this knight for the bishop. Bishop e6. Fighting for the open file. Very good. I like that one better. I do not like that one better. I actually prefer to just try to support the pawns in the center, but you're right, he might have g4. No, he doesn't have g4 because of the problems incurring here and there. So the opponent can exchange off their double pawn. It's the only reason why I don't like this move. And they exchange off their double pawn, and we don't have the same dynamic advantage that we once had. So in this particular position, we need to probably go for it and focus on the weakness as quickly as humanly possible. So what's going to happen on this? We have a back rank weakness, so our opponent can actually defend and attack at the same time. And we're in a spot of trouble here because we've got the wrong bishop. Oh, there's nothing there. Houston, there's nothing there. I think you're okay here. If you get an outside pass pawn, you are going to be in business. And you can. With bishops opposite colors, you need pawns on both sides of the board, and preferably at least one rook. Two rooks probably would be crushing, by the way. If you got pawns on opposite sides of the board, you have the safer king, you have the better bishop for preserving your king. Bishops are on the opposite sides of the board, so that's why you don't need that pawn. I'd prefer not to have that pawn. So what can you do in this position? He cannot take your pawn because of this one. So what to do? Can we play rook to d8? He'll have to exchange, take, and then we're going to play a check. We have no way of getting on that pawn. We have to get our king over anyway. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it is what it is. We end up in this position. Oh no, you went for it. You fell for that. Now you always have to go for the open file every chance you get. I disagree with you. Let's rephrase what you just said. I am slowly developing the skills to fully calculate that line in the given time control. And interestingly enough, it's like a goldfish, Lauren. If you give a goldfish a large bowl, the goldfish will grow to be a large fish. If you keep the goldfish in a small bowl, the goldfish will remain small. It is interesting how that works. You have to work on that mindset in every rhetorical way. Grandmaster Joel Benjamin was very big on how I said things, conveying my understanding. And it's not cool. So I don't know that b5 is needed just yet, but certainly you have no back rank weakness. You played h6. I'm not a huge fan of h6. I know what you were trying to do with h6. But if you're going to play h6, you might as well put that pawn on a white square. Now I'm dead. Exactly. So Lauren, you ironically will develop the skills to calculate lines slightly faster, because if you play regularly at this time control, in the United States, Lauren, we have a lot of 5-second delay tournaments. So every tournament game comes down to the wire with 5 minutes with a 5-second delay. That is, the clock doesn't run for 5 seconds every move. You can't accumulate time. But this time is hugely luxurious because you can make a couple of small positional moves and suddenly you have 15 seconds. You can make 4 or 5 positional moves and suddenly you'll have... Yeah, so this is exactly the same as 10-minute no increment, interestingly enough. You just have to... You have to be very deliberate in your calculations. You can't let... You'd never get yourself down. So this, to me, this is a preferable time control. I would never have a tournament in the dojo with no increment. In fact, I have had it with no increment in the past, and I regretted it. Having a 3-0 tournament or anything, forget about it. So in this particular position, could we have played the move rook to a6 and tried to bring our king in? No, doesn't make sense. b5 is more or less forced. You are better here, but how are you going to be able to improve your betterness? Do you need to really play a rook to a8? Yes. I was looking at rook a7, rook d7. Just to make sure that he doesn't get his rook to the 7th rank. Our king is out of the game. So the first thing that occurs to me is getting our king in here somehow. And I still wish our pawn were on h5, limiting his pawns from moving forward. No, I understand. I don't want you to be married to anyone. I mean, anything. That's not what I was saying, by the way. Meanwhile, relatively the same idea. So now you've cut off his king from the queen side. This is all good. And this is actually the move that I wanted to limit. Foot, meat, mouth, indeed. Yeah, I'm trying to find a way, like if we could have anchored our bishop onto this square, this would have been great. So g4, instead of pushing his rook to a better square, I refer to this as caveman chess, by the way, Lauren. We all do it. I'm guilty of it. It happens. And then every now and then, it's very clear that caveman chess can bite you in the tuchus. caveman chess, for everybody who doesn't realize, is that you have a caveman and he's just got one tool, one stick, and he's coming down the sidewalk toward you. What do? You cross the street if you really need to get past him. Let's walk over there. We'll go up the street on the other side. You can see the caveman coming. So therefore, whenever you attack something in chess, I want you to liken it not to a brilliant attacking idea, but to you trying to do a game of Beat the Weasel. $73 Deshi. I don't know what I'm going to do for a... I'm not going to offer a 24-hour stream again. I will offer 12-hour streams. I still owe a 24-hour stream to Dark Myth for helping us reach 50 subs, which was very kind of me. Because 50 subs, I really regretted it. I should have gone with a 12-hour tall stream. But the problem with a 50-hour video is that you cannot break it up into YouTube, and YouTube will not punish a 24-hour stream. I'm glad that Rogan has some confidence in some way, because I will still probably beat Rogan playing the London after 24 hours of streaming. However, if Rogan is no longer playing the London, I might be in trouble. That's right, absolutely, because the purpose of every combination and strategic thought is to reach a better endgame. Absolutely. Now, the thing I love about Silman's Endgame book is that it is a read. It is a tremendous read. Yeah, the title arena this afternoon is 3-0. And it doesn't look like I'm going to do the 6-hour stream today because of the titled arena. If I choose to play the titled arena. Uh-oh. Black just blundered. Alert, alert, alert. In fact, white just blundered. Did he really have the move? Rook takes d5. Yeesh. Yeah, he definitely forced the exchange. And this is really ugly. There's no recovering from that one. So you've given me a lot of confidence against Stas 235 because he has pummeled me. Like you would not believe. So many times he has pummeled me. And there's a permanent weakness that I was looking for. Bishop e6 and his world comes tumbling down. You're going to have a pawn majority on this side of the board. And you're going to have an H-pawn that is going to be lethal. So if bishop e6, rook takes g5, it's all lethal now. There is no saving him as we improve our king position. And we improve the chances of creating a passed pawn on both sides of the board. You did a Nepo here. No, that's true. We all do our Nepo sometimes. All right. In order to lay this combination to rest, before I start my Rotten Lemons OG Candidates match, which I am going to set up, how do I get... Oh, hold on. Rogan has a game. Is that a London? Nothing wrong with the London. Let's take a quick peek. Rotten, are you okay for a moment? Hold the phone here. When was that game? Was that game? That game was like a year ago. That game, I don't remember games from last year, Roken. That wasn't a London, by the way. You failed to play the London in that game, Roken. You won that game because you did not play the London. That was Roken. He played D5 when I played C5. You're not allowed to play D5 when I play C5. Otherwise, you're playing an old Benoni. Yeah, right? Like accidental homicide. It was accidental homicide. Yeah, I end up in an old Benoni quite often. I used to play d4, c5 against anyone who I thought was going to play bishop f4 on the second move, Lauren. And I usually exchanged on d4 and I ended up in a Carl Khan because it would be d4, c5, e3, or c3. And then I play e6 and I end up in a perfectly acceptable position. I could also play e6 against the London. In fact, d4, e6 is probably the best. Where is our game, Lauren? This one. I love in Swisses that I can click on the game. So the standard move in this position is to keep control over d5, prevent d5. I was going to play d5 against you. The standard move is knight to b3 because you can play d5. If this were colors reversed in an English opening, and it were white's turn, this is white, by the way. White pieces would be over here, and it would be white's turn. White plays d4. Absolutely. I don't usually answer e4 with e5, but we might be able to do that. f4, queen to b6. Is that true? I'm trying to recall if, I think against f4, that's the only move that I cannot play d5 against. Is that what you're inferring? So if you play f4, I was thinking I was going to play... Yeah, I probably would not have played queen to b6. But isn't this the same position as what we got in the game? Hold on, I have to take a quick peek at... This is kind of the London system. You beat me here. Kingslayer Sloan is really... Oh, that's a Jobava London. Yes, I actually think that this is superior to the London. This is Jobava's improvement on the London. This is what Arsenal fan Richie and others played. Hold on, I'm going to put that into the viewer studies. Viewer studies. And the other one I'm going to put into the viewer studies so I can come back to it. That's how I figured it out. I figured out how to get to it. In order to allow queen d2 and trading my g7 bishop. Yes, I know. I definitely know. d5 is certainly better than queen to b6. Have I been in this position before? Master Chess Dojo is white? Never. This position... Wow, I've never been white in this position? That's crazy. I'm going to have to make up for that. But I don't believe in bishop e2 and bishop e3, by the way. So in this particular position, Lauren, you should look into Karpov, played bishop g5. Karpov also played castles, king h1, and f4, f5. Karpov in the late 1970s, he did. Absolutely. Quadraspaski's, one of Quadraspaski's wins. But I believe that was a standard tactical idea that I fell for. I wouldn't even say that that was the one. And I was the third. Well, if you are playing a variety, the other great thing, Lauren, about the Swiss is that you get a nice variety of players because you get a good feel-good game against somebody that you should beat. Then you get to play someone who is going to challenge you and you're going to learn from. And by the end of the Swiss, like Stas, you're going to get someone right in the middle where that's the one where you have to hurt. I smashed the course soon after. I did smash the course soon after. I plowed through that. So you noticed on Chessable that I went through the entire Joe Bava London book for white. Only to play it as black, by the way. I do not play it as white. Yeah, Queen to D2 is definitely... Queen to D3 is interesting. Interesting. Did not consider that. And knight takes e4 is not good. Knight to g4 is the best. Fascinating. I just learned something. And I believe I've been in this position before. Wow, I just learned something. I haven't gone through all of my stuff, that's for sure. And the assessment of this position is better for black? Yes. Better for black. Slightly better for black. All right, Rotten Lemons wants to start. Hold the phone. Just need to change the stream title. Rotten Lemons, I saved those in the game study. Is this already in the game study? I'm just going to cross my fingers that this game was already in the game study. It was not, so I'm glad I saved it. Lauren JW, we're going to return to that. I think the thing that I learned in this position was that knight takes e4 is not as good as knight takes d4, queen takes d4, rook b1, queen a3. Queen d2, bishop d7, rook takes b7, rook on f to c8, standard dragon stuff. Then black is better. That was the end of the line. All right. This is, where's Rotten Lemons? I just need to make sure I get his name right. Rotten Lemons with no one. So, candidates. First off, Rotten Lemons has to do better than the last candidate's match. I'm going to put update in here. I need to copy this for the today's the 8th. Wow. I can't believe I made it to school on time, by the way. And then here it's Rotten 1 Lemons. So I think that's the one I'm going to actually do. You want 3-2 rated. Excellent. Zero, zero. Control C, changing our stream title. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. I needed to do edit command. Pegasus, namaste. This guy's piling on the the game studies. Oh my god. Hold on, you don't have to tell me the name of the person just yet. Let me just finish what I'm doing. Pegasus 3-hour study. In fact, the really great thing about this, and he brings us to a record, 78 subs. Merpant, gotta love it. Arsenal fan Richie, that should bring him out of the woodworks. He should come back and visit. C Wizzo, 3,000. Chess Wizzo, 3,000. Han Yolo, very good. Porks, nice. Welsh Canadian. Namaste. Hold on here. Edit com. Update. There we go. That one should be done. Candidates match. Rotten Lemons, 3+2, best of 12. And then I just need to switch over to candidates match. I didn't put up a picture of Elisabeth Pähtz. I'm glad nobody's spoiled by me putting up a picture of the player every day. And this is Rotten Lemons. And on the top of the stream, I'm actually going to use your real name. Or your thingamajiggy name. All right, after 3 games, I need to go get coffee. That's my standard routine. By the way, good luck, Rotten Lemons. Cheers, man. I have time to try worst fish. I need to get you off my back. I don't understand why I need another training tool. Ron Hay sends me all of these training tools, whether it's a page on Teresh and Aim Chess, or I can't tell you how many awesome training tools Ron Hay or Pegasus has sent to me that I just don't have time to add another training tool. Rotten Lemons. Starting off in the middle of all the openings. That I believe. For some players, the guillotine works really well. The guillotine works really well because Arpad Elo himself, by the way, the fellow who invented the rating system, recommended the guillotine for a player who is up a piece against Gingy. He said it won't make any difference in his play if you remove his head. All right, now that I know what worst fish is, I'm not sure this is my type of training tool. So I have a lot of different moves here. I'm going to go with the oldest one, just for the start of the match. This is often the end of everyone's theory. The move there for black was d4. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that I have too many training tools. Did I really play that? Yes, I'm okay. I did play that for a reason. Queen takes d4. Just to target the d pawn as an isolated pawn, not worth it. Space advantage, pawn on e5 as a wedge. Bishop in a very precarious limbo here. And now what? Interesting. Rook to the 7th rank? Is that what I'm getting? I'm not sure if that is what I'm getting, but okay. I do have to see what is happening here. Mm-hmm. 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 So interestingly enough, I am not knocking it. So that check is going to have to be very persistent. Very persistent and consistent. But what is the purpose of the exercise to find the worst move? Is this training to play Magnus Carlsen and outdo Nepo? Is that what Worst Fish will do? It will help you? I think your bishop was in a little bit of limbo, but you did have a concrete idea on the king side when you played bishop g4, moving the same piece twice in the opening. I have to throw this move in as an in-between move. And do I want the rook or do I want the bishop? I want the rook because I want a pin. I want to pin the knight. It's very difficult to get these pieces out. Sorry, rotten lemons, but this does not look good. It's a bummer. That was the point. Sorry, buddy. So it's just my games. The gold to it is. Indeed. Can this happen? Bishop takes. Rook takes. Ah, one of the no resign camps. This seems like it's a new account, Rotten Lemons. Oh, it's Rotten _ Lemons. I got the wrong guy in the stream title. We're going to go with a very traditional Sicilian. I want to play 3 different types of Sicilians today. If at all possible. That's all right. Neither do I. We're both in the same boat. Aha. Okay, so that is too wide for the thing. Just need to bring it in just a little bit. Bring it in. I think you're playing the best moves. You only need to know the first 5 moves of every Sicilian. So this happened the other day. So this is a thing. Personally, I believe in playing the dragon against this. Because the knight on d4 is very precarious. You forgot the Yugoslav attack? Yes, possibly. Mm-hmm. 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 So how does this work? Bishop takes, queen takes. I don't know. I'm not at all worried about this early stage of the game possibility. But yeah, if the bishop were on e2, this would be remarkably similar to the line that I was recommending for Lauren. Desperado. So I imagine that when anyone is playing a match against me, it is a battle for piece coordination. Absolutely essential piece coordination. This could be trouble. What was I thinking when I played queen to b6? What was I thinking? All right, now it's official. Got it. That's what I was thinking. Peace activity. Always striving for peace activity. Now that we're up in exchange, the plan is fairly straightforward and simple. Activating pieces. Seeking exchanges. Getting rid of the bishop pair. not giving back the exchange with knight. Knight takes e7 check, not giving back the exchange. My opponent only has but one life to give, and no way to attack f7. Everything for me is a training tool, by the way. Everything. Every single thing is a training tool. Yes, even you. That's right. Even you. You, I am your training tool. You and I are playing each other for a reason, by the way. My last move was a blunder. It really was. I should have played g5 before I played king f7. No, I'm... Oh my God, that's terrible, Roken. You're absolutely right. No, I didn't call him a tool. I called him a training tool. You are so mean, Roken. Definitely you are so mean. All right, knight c3 served its purpose. He knows what he is doing there. a3 is the next one. The theory comes later. And now for something completely irrelevant. I haven't checked to see if Magnus Carlsen has played a3 more than 4 times. But I definitely know that Magnus Carlsen has played a3 in professional play 4 times. Ivanchuk was the only person to beat him. Mr. Fruit Spain. Yes, indeed. Now I'm resorting to a standard dragon where I just want to develop my pieces. Everything is working out. I probably should play bishop g5, but if h6, then I cannot reply. There's no advantage in exchanging pieces. There's just 0 advantage in exchanging pieces. So now that knight to d4 is in, let's prevent any bolstering of that knight. What? That did not make sense. So let's see, if I had played bishop takes b7 on the previous move, bishop takes f1, bishop takes a8. We need to keep up the pressure on the Joneses here. Now that I'm up in material, everything changes, by the way. Now that I am up in material, everything changes. The whole world. Expectations. Lockdown. So that's kind of a bother. Queen h5, bishop g4. It really is a bother. Queen h5, bishop g4. Wow, he covered everything just in the nick of time. So now I still have to evaluate everything the same. Bishop d5, bishop e4, both of those moves look good to me. I'm only up a pawn. He has the bishop pair. I'm not happy about him having the bishop pair, but I'm going to have to live with it. His bishop on d6, somewhat atrocious, still useful. I am willing to, I don't mind backseating in any way, shape, or form, by the way. Honestly. I do not mind it at all. There was a possibility of him desperadoing his bishop. And now I have other problems to work around. So now, is his rook going anywhere? That is the question. What is more important? Bishop d5, bishop e4. I don't want his bishop to see the light of day. b5, bishop takes a3, rook a1. Looks like we're winning material. Maybe. I hadn't thought of time as a factor, though. So knight c4, queen f6. Can't resign before I realize that your bishop's hanging. Believe it or not, when your opponent makes unexpected moves like that, it's not that easy. Hold on, I'm grabbing coffee. I promised myself after 3 games I would grab coffee. I do want to get that one off the board, though. Don't make your first move yet. Coffee and aqua. Take my phone just in case. Yes. Oh, I need to put up the coffee command as well. Although someone else could easily, yes. Someone else could easily put, I need more coffee commands than that. Coffee 1, coffee 2. Desperately needed coffee. All right, we are ready. Last half of the match. Maybe not the last half of the match. Last 2/3 of the match. Okay. Now wait just a moment. I should not get the white pieces again. Sorry about that. There we go. That's important, right? Keep the alternate. Believe it or not, I have been converted to oat milk by my daughter, but I do drink my coffee black most of the time. Cheers. Coffee too. Very good. Thank you, Rogan. I mean, Rotten Lemons. Sorry. Thank you, Rogan. Cheers, man. I want to give him the, what do I gotta say here? RJS. If you've not yet followed Rogan. Rotten Lemons wanted to play some of these. I don't know what he plays, but let's find out. Let us find out what he plays. He put in this request earlier, and I failed to play it in the first round. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Something seems wrong with this picture, but I don't know what it is yet. I just got to make sure that I don't get caught out of theory. Bishop e3 does not seem standard. Black and no sugar, black and occasionally one Splenda, depending on the size of the coffee, if I'm in the mood for sugar. Really, g4 is the worst move white can play. That's cruel. That is so cruel. The worst fish recommended first move. Ever. Interesting. Now we are fighting to control the center. I have to say that in the advent of everything that is going on, in theory today, with Magnus Carlsen just playing good chess, can't let him play bishop c5. I wanted to do the rook lift. I did. All of my pieces are activated. No, come on. No, you're not. Okay, hey, Lauren, you are focusing too much on the rating. This is like a gambler in the casino looking only at the dollars. Don't do that to yourself. Seriously. You're not looking at the dollars. The dollars come and go. The chips in poker, for example, are only tools by which the game is played. Same thing here for the most part. Did I really fall prey to rook d5? He's setting me up for rook takes e7. And I don't have a good answer, unfortunately. I just don't. He had knight d5 last move, which I could meet by rook e4. I think I'm on the verge of losing by a hair. So now, if I'm not careful, what's happening? I guess I'm okay. I'm not very okay, but I'm okay. Rook endings, very much the savior of the common man. Got one extra pawn on both sides of the board. This could be awkward. Lauren, yeah, no, never regret playing in the tournament. Your rating will come back up. The tricky part about, the great thing about playing in the tournament is that you will always get rewarded in the long run. Honestly. It has nothing to do with where your number is. Absolutely nothing to do with where your number is. What am I worried about here? Yes. All right. The technique part. Now I've got it. I lured his rook over there for a reason. You had to go to, I guess you couldn't go to e1. That was awkward. But Lauren, yeah, please do not look at the number. Just don't look at the number. That is not going to help you. The more you look at the number, it's like watching the clock, expecting it to move faster. It does not work out well. I thought you played very okay. We can look at that one again for a moment. So here, I'm not a big fan of d3. I believe you should play the main line with castles. The drawback was that bishop e3, remember that Ruy Lopez is almost a semi-open game. It is almost a semi-open game. That's okay. We might have time to review it again later. Now, I also like Magnus Carlsen's choice in the early game of the match after e4, e5. I didn't realize how drawish this one could be as well. I thought knight takes e4 was the better move there, by the way. No, we can't do this. It's not the same. Capablanca games for you, sir. Capablanca games for you. This is just in case he was planning on playing h6, g5, and bishop g7 to keep my knight trapped. I have to get my rook to e1 as fast as humanly possible. I probably could have castled right away. That was probably a better idea. So it's the shower that I'm not seeing. Is that the story? My daughter is showering. And when my grandson takes a bath, so is my knight trapped? That is the question. We'll find out. Oh no, my knight's not trapped. Did not expect that one. This could be trouble. Mate in 2? Oh, it's not mate in 2. Mate in 2? It's not mate in 2. All right. Still trying to threaten mate in 2. I think that's it. Oops. It's not mate in 2. Darn it. It's not mate in 2. It had to be there somewhere. Am I okay? Did I update the score? It's 5. I didn't put update in the title, in the stream title, but okay. Blind Simul X, how are you? This is one of the many learning tools. Me playing against viewers, unfortunately, cost reward points. I'm terribly sorry. How have you been doing? Blind Simul X, We need a shout out for Blind Simul X. I know I always do it. I don't mind if somebody else can get him. Blind Simul X. So the e4 pawn is now protected. It could have been protected by rook e1, which to me is a little bit more to the point. Am I concerned about bishop d5? That is the question. Anakin, come in here. Anakin, there's a secret entrance in here. My grandson. So here, I have to play d6. I think I might have made a mistake in the previous game. Maybe not. Anakin. Here, you can come in here. Hey, you are so good at opening this door. Yeah. Hold on, you gonna visit my grandson? Ah. Yeah. What are we doing?
I'm doing chores.
I'm going after the bishop pair. That's what I'm going after.
So high.
Yeah, I'm going after the bishop pair. You're so high. The chessboard?
So high you can't board.
Yeah, the chessboard on the wall. The vertical chessboard.
I'm so love it. It's so many numbers.
So many numbers too. Yeah. What are all of those numbers?
6.
6? How about 1, 4, 2?
Oh, 14.
That's my time, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out how to break in the center, Bubby. I need a pawn break in the center. So my opponent is definitely breaking well in the center. I have to decide how to defend my center in order to find a pawn break myself. I'm not sure if my move was correct. Was I really worried about a pawn capture? I don't know if I was really worried about a pawn capture. You are such a priceless grandson. He is so smart. What is the planet that is red? Which one is the red planet?
Mars.
Mars? Are you sure? What about the planet with the rings?
Saturn.
Saturn? That's crazy. I never knew that. How about the silver planet?
Sun.
No, the silver planet. What is the smallest planet?
Mercury.
Mercury, yes. I thought it was a silver planet, but is it also a silver planet, Mercury? What is the biggest planet? Jupiter. I love when he says that. Trevlar, how are you? Thank you for the shout out. Blind Simul X. Uh-oh. I'm running out of time. Yes. I'm running out of time. I'm giving grandson odds. Yes. I'm giving grandson odds. This could be tough.
Oh,
Yeah, no keyboard right now.
no keyboard.
No keyboard. Rotten Lemons is going to possibly score a win with grandson odds.
Keyboards.
Yes, there you never know.
It's so confusing.
That has to go away.
It has to go away.
Yeah, I need to... I'm trying my best to keep this game tight and not be under too much time pressure. Thank you. Yeah, I know, right? He was banging down the door of my daughter, because my daughter, is Mama showering? He was pounding down the door. I don't think I'm in the right zone here for this, but we'll find out. We will find out if I'm in the right zone for this. That's probably a good move. And now for something completely different. I'm assuming that he did not mean to put that there on that side of the board. So I'm going to continue on with my plan. I know it was touch move. Definitely MVP. Anakin is responsible for many of my losses. Conte de Luna also has children, and he attributes most of his questionable decisions to exactly that. Uh-oh. Life could still be tough, by the way, with this discovery. Can I get there from here? Darn it. E3. I almost ran out of time there. I think I might be safe if I could just make all of my moves in between Bubby cuteness. Oh, it's 3-2. I forgot that it's 3-2. I was spending the whole morning on 5-5. I'm like, why is my time not going up? Uh-huh. Help! All right, I'm on the hill. Hold on 1 second. Updating the score. No Anakin breaks have been announced. All right, are we ready? We're going to use D4. We haven't used D4 yet. I can't remember what he played against my E4. Because I don't remember playing the Ruy Lopez. Oh, he played the Petrov. Got it. He played the Petrov. I'm going to play Knight F3 on move 2. Okay, now we return to our regularly scheduled programming. I do have to remember that if my opponent plays the Grunfeld, I need to be ready for Knight F3 variations in the Grunfeld. Nothing like... Yes, he's definitely eyeing my mouse. Are you trying to use my mouse? It's over there. You need to bring it over here. There we go. Yes, that is Anakin pointing at a variety of things. I'm not sure that I'm supposed to play D5 instantly. Yeah? All right, we've transposed. We've transposed it to the main line. You're not going to trade me in for Mama, are you? Oh, shoots. I'll refund you. Did I play the G4? I'm so sorry, Apostolate. Darn it. No, I was distracted by my grandson. I apologize. I see it over here to my left, but fortunately we can refund him. Uh-oh, what is he doing? What is that knight doing?
The knight.
Yeah, what is that knight doing? Let's just play H3 and let that knight stay on vacation on the queen side.
And it's that the knight too.
Right, we're in a whole different variation than we thought we were, Anakin. We have to move the knight. Yeah, his knight is on vacation on the queen side. I don't know. I'm going to let him tour, get, one of those walking tours, perhaps. So let's see. It could be time. I made a mistake. Did I make a mistake? I might have made a mistake. I'm just going to pretend like I did not make a mistake. I'm going to cross my fingers, Anakin, that I did not make a mistake. Yeah, that's natural. That's probably the best way to prove that I made a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if you can refund yourself. Can you refund yourself? Be careful, though. I can do it.
no.
Hold on here. I'm going to do it real quick. Oh, rotten lemons. I can definitely take. All right. What do I want to do in this position, Bubs? I need a plan. I need a plan. Get my rook off the lock diagonal. Okay, good. Oh, and now we're off to the races. Without the knight on f6, the knight can't go to c5 as easy. Yeah, be careful. I broke the glass is cut.
Glass is cut.
Yes, the glass is cut. I'm after the bishop.
You with Grandpa? You streaming?
He's streaming.
You streaming with the Grandpa? You gonna be a streamer when you grow up?
And then
When he grows up.
night.
I'm a big boy now, Mama. I'm a big boy now.
That's a night.
Yeah, how do we get the knight? How do we get that knight?
On since a back on.
That one, yeah. We're trying to figure it out.
On the white on and the back on. Mixing the double mix gay.
We're going to pretend like this is all part of our plan. So, what other planets do you know? What other planets do you know?
Neptune.
Neptune. Tell me about Neptune. Is that a green planet? What's the green planet?
Since
No, you can't write. No writing during the game. I have to take care of the game first.
again.
I don't have anything for you to write on.
So white.
You want to write on the post-it note? Okay, here we go. Post-it note coming up. But only one post-it note, okay?
On post.
This is a post-it note. No, just one. Top one. Top one.
They got one.
How do I
They
do
got
this?
the one. Look.
Yeah, you got one? Okay, good. Just one. You can write on the post-it note.
Oh. Okay.
Are you doing your numbers? 1, 2, 3. I don't know if this had a point, by the way, at all. I do not know if this had a point, but I do know where I was trying to go, and what I was trying to threaten. No, I'm attacking something, dude. I was threatening something. I don't want to do it.
Want to give me something?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rotten Lemons, but I was sneaking up on you on that square. I did look at not checkmating you on f7 briefly. I was looking at knight takes h7, king g8, queen g8 check, and it may have been the same thing after queen takes east, g7 check, king c6.
I made a table.
Rectangle? You made a rectangle?
I made this.
Yeah, you made a rectangle. Anakin, look over here. Those say hi. You see?
This is a table.
That's a rectangle? Okay, that's a rectangle. I can't get him to say hi. Not that easily, anyway. Good game, Rotten Lemons. Thank you so much, buddy. So what was the moral of the story? I think, and I don't know that I haven't given you this advice before, but the main idea is to play through a master's games and assimilate everything that they know. Assimilate everything that they know. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Final. And it is tricky. Moral is to not play like me. No, that is not true. All of your moves had ideas and purpose. You were doing fine. I'm not a huge fan of the King's Indian. I also grew up on the King's Indian, and I felt like I could have been an international master had I not only studied the King's Indian. Had I not only studied the King's Indian, it would have been good for me. But this plan of playing knight takes a7 and taking the bishop is huge to eliminate some of these things. Yeah. Also, another beautiful book. If you want to study master games, but of openings, 500 Master Games of Chess by Tartakower and Dumont. I have to work on my Amazon store today, probably. That way you can support the stream and buy things through Amazon that will 500 Master Games by Tartakower. The great thing about it is that it is organized by opening. So if you really want to study the rule of Pez, you can study the rule of Pez in its entire evolution.
People first.
What's that?
People.
People?
No, people.
So, Pegasus, did you choose a world champion and I missed it? I have to find out. Where did Pegasus go with his 5 gifted subs? I wasn't paying attention entirely to the chat. I missed... I'm going to find Pegasus here for a moment. Look back. Hold on. In my messages. If anybody knows if Pegasus suggested someone, I've put that back down at the bottom. It is a great book. It's not expensive. Unfortunately, it's in descriptive notation. So it requires a lot of attention and tender loving care. An Anakin teach stream. Yeah. Why couldn't we just name you Luke? When Ted in How I Met Your Mother was going to name his 2 children, he was going to have Luke and Leia.
Luke and Leia.
Luke and Leia. Do you know who those are? What movie are Luke and Leia in?
And since Luke and Leia.
Are they in Star Wars?
Since the potato.
All right, worst fish. How do I find a worst fish? I'm going to get this one out of the way.
People. Some people.
What's that?
People. This.
Hold on, I need to read the instructions here.
Some people first.
You want paper? Hold on, I have to move some of the books out of the way so you don't accidentally write on the wrong thing. Yeah. Spassky has to move out of the way. He's my favorite guy to study at the moment. Hold on, no, not there. I'm going to find a piece of paper over here. Yes, there you go. Now you can practice your alphabet. I love my grandson time, by the way. So it is max rapid and max ink, 15 seconds ink. So maybe do 15 plus 5 to not need to worry about time.
I made the heart.
I'm going to just do my normal time control. in order to not give up too much time. What do I want rated? I'm going with casual. I want to know what the worst move is here.
They made a heart.
Alekine is one of my favorites, absolutely. But I have not worked through Spassky's games enough. Believe it or not, I have studied all of Alekine's games. And therefore, I have a thought here. Oh, I missed my chance. I missed my chance. This was checkmate. No! It was a terrible game.
Is that a terrible game?
Yes. Terrible game. I should have played knight h7.
They laid. I'm in aid.
That is not the goal. I understand the goal, apostolate. See, that's apostolate. See, apostolate? The goal. Can you say the goal?
Go.
Goal. I don't have that in my DNA. I can't.
Is it making good boo?
Just do fool's mate.
On.
It doesn't do a rematch. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I really don't. I just don't have it in me. So after queen takes rook check, what is the story, everybody? What do I do? This is a problem.
This is the pop though.
But I don't see the point of trying to lose.
Let's go on this. Something I move.
I have to admit it, apostolate. My challenge right away.
Huh.
So what do I do about this? I am in big trouble here. I think I'm going to retire the stream on this one. It is not easy. No, it goes against the very core of my principles of apostolate. I just can't possibly fathom a game. I also don't like the other game, which is loser's chess, which is you must capture and you have to give away all of your pieces in order to win. That is a good, I don't know if that's a good game for beginners even. You need to go to the bathroom? You need to go pee-pee?
No.
You sure? Need to go poo-poo? No? Okay, just checking.
Get off.
Yeah? You have to go? All right, you go take care of business. He may need to go 1993 to 2006. Kramnik. All right. Hold the phone. Where's that one? '93 to 2006. It's like when he was alive. PCA World Champion. Very good. No, Kramnik counts. Kramnik did help the uniform. All right, I'm laying to bed the worst fish debate. I have a worst fish game in my repertoire. Hold on. Going back to worst fish here. I now have...
Going downstairs?
No.
Oh, you're in there? Okay.
a worst fish game with me. not happy about it. You found my 1 minute timer? All right.
And then set up there.
Oh, you want the other one? Hold on, let me just finish what I was doing.
Oh, season,
Oh, you want the other one? Hold on. Who was that? He's over there on the other screen? Yeah, he is. In order to prepare for our instructional stream, if we're going to have an instructional stream before I do the title arena, I need to raid somebody. The last time I raided Ali Reza Farouzi, we got no recognition. So I'm going to send everyone over to my other absolutely favorite streamer, who's always trying his hardest. He's always trying to be educational. Please enjoy Le Fontois. He is a great guy. Not too far from me, I think, in Montreal. I hope you enjoy him. He's actually playing in a Blitz Cup arena. Not sure if it's open to everyone, but it has not yet started. His Blitz Cup arena is starting in 1 minute. Have a great afternoon. Pegasus, thank you for the stream. Cheers, everyone. Have a great day. I will be back with either Kramnik, Magnus, Kosteniuk, Johnny Hector, or Dilla Bourdonnais, who interestingly enough played a world championship match against an amateur, Alexander McDonald. And there was a book written on it in the Fred Wilson podcast, by the way. If you haven't checked out the Fred Wilson Perpetual Chess podcast, please do. You'll find me an episode bonus pod during the World Championship not too long ago with Jan Timman, last 33 minutes. And you'll also find an interview with Fred Wilson, number 85, where he talks about chess history quite a lot. Please follow me on my socials. Cheers, guys. Have a great afternoon, and ciao. I'll be back.